When a grown man has the gall to blame his dismal prospects on his deceased father and threatens to kill and eat his feline inheritance, he deserves whatever gruesome penalty fate can dish out. The sons of a humble miller divide his possessions before he's barely cold.
Let me use your ass to work the mill, and I'll share whatever profits may come our way.
Gladly. I knew father's ass must be good for summit. What about our brother?
Let him teach the cat to catch rats for his keep.
Oh, great. I hate rat. Not enough white meat. Thanks for nothing, father. Might as well eat the cat and slit me throat on a full stomach.
The cat, called Puss, being a far sight more clever than his new master, concocts a scheme to save both their lives.
Master, don't despair. Get me a decent pair of boots, and I'll make our living.
Really, Puss? Okay, great. What size?
The cat, forever generous and altruistic, and if you believe that, I'd like to sell you some land in Xanadu, begins to deliver on the first installment of their salvation.
Ah, poor bunnies, ignorant of the pleasures, requirements, and deceits of this world. Come along with me, that you may see the light.
This starts to sound fishy. What's he gonna do with all these rabbits? Puss knows just where to redeem this herd of cuddlies.
I bring you a present, sire, from my master, the Marquis of Carabas.
A warren of rabbits, how droll. Thank the Marquis and tell him he does me a great deal of pleasure.
Oh, brother. Puss's master doesn't even know what a marquis is. Once he sets the hook, Puss plays the deeply loopy king before reeling him in.
Oh, Majesty, thank heavens you've passed by. My lord, the Marquis of Carabas, has been robbed of his clothing.
Tragic. Such a generous man.
What luck! The completely senseless Marquis will not have to gad about completely naked. And the princess is quite taken with him also. Puss moves ahead of the carriage so he can further inflate his master's reputation.
Listen up, you scum! If you do not tell the king that the meadow you mow belongs to the Marquis of Carabas, you shall be chopped as small as herbs for the pot.
Are you repressing us?
Indeed he is. Repressed by a flaming cat in boots, by your leave.
Rather.
Just shut the hell up and do as I say.
Very persuasive. What tact, what discretion. A natural diplomat.
Good mowers, hail. To whom do these fine meadows belong?
To
my Lord Marquis of Carabas, your Majesty.
Puss's scheme relies on the king's ignorance of his kingdom's geography and people, as well as his willingness to be closely advised by a talking cat in unconventional footwear. And for Puss's final coup, he stops at a sumptuously decorated, if forbidding, castle where lives a rich and powerful ogre.
I have been assured that you are able to change yourself into a lion or an elephant.
True that. I can become all creatures, great and small.
But surely nothing so tiny as a mouse. That would be impossible. Even for one of your great powers.
O ye of little faith.
A decent trick, but exploiting such a creature's vanity is so easy. Not kosher, really, but effective.
Welcome, Your Majesty, to the Carabas family home.
A vast and fine abode. And as my daughter appears to have fallen in love with your master, it will be his fault if he is not my son-in-law before this day is done.
They're purported to have lived happily ever after. I suspect I'm not the first to find something less than satisfying, let alone credible, in a secretly swashbuckling feline. What say we craft a scenario that befits the cunning and courage of the cat? When the old miller kicks off, he leaves his paltry estate, a distressed mill, a dumb donkey and a tomcat, to his 3 worthless and mean-spirited sons. There's bound to be foul play afoot. Let's make it fouler. Make it nasty. Do it now! Now I'm smelly. Grim's stinky. Now. Now I'm gross. Now I'm foul. Now's rotten. What? Don't be good. All your base belong to us. Now there's a deal. The cat's plan starts with some hunting. Let's make it gruesome. Make it stinky. Do it now! Don't delay! Don't delay! Run, stop away! Gross. When the hunt moves underground, Puss continues the carnage. Ugh. 1 billion bunnies with their
hippity-hoppity-jumpity-uppity. Look at my cute little cotton puff tail wiggle like so.
enough, dumb bunnies. Let's cull the herd. Where's my boomstick? Let's blow it up.
Make it nasty.
Grim's foul. Now. Secretive as a saint in a brothel, and about as useful.
Watch the dog man! He's coming! He's coming!
Now! Rotten! Whoa, it's raining rabbit! Will there be enough good bits left for a decent stew? Puss's plan progresses when he presents carcasses to the king. This seemingly misguided attempt to garner royal favor works. The king is impressed by deceased megamorphs. Pretty sick, no? Well, let's make them sicker. Make it nasty. Do it now! Stinky. Our secret no more. Make it disgusting.
I've gone dark!
Being messed about by a big bunny would be an affront to my dignity if I had any. To elicit royal sympathy, Puss contrives to have the king believe his master, whose name is Brian, by the way, has been stripped and robbed by highwaymen. Where is this going? Nakedness? Bandits? Oh, what the hell? Let's make it nude banditos. Make it rotten. Do it now! Not so secret now, are ya? Grim's smelly now. Water. Now I'm stinky. Now who's gross?
Please don't kill me. Get away from me.
That's disgusting.
They waste my water! Watering rain, the worst kind. My, what have I detected now? Make it Nasty. We're a few burritos short of a fiesta. Right on, senores. Hooray! While his master rides with the king, Puss threatens the local farmers. Tell a big lie or perish. Help! Help! You're being oppressed! Make it gross. Do it now! Now I'm stinky. Easy choice. They've seen Puss's mouth. And this plant has some teeth, too. Let's make them sharp. Move, beasties. Make it rotten. Now I'm foul. Grim level at. Looking for something? No, found it. Ha ha! Do you see the violence inherent in a class system based on land ownership? Do you? Lawn bowling with bovines! Wah! Make it disgusting. Who's nasty?
Dadgummit! Rabbit! No, guard it! Rabbit! Dadgummit! I'm going all board! Dadgummit! Rabbit! No, guard it! I'm going all board! Dadgummit! Rabbit! No, guard it! I'm going all board! Dadgummit!
Now I'm repulsive.
No, guard it! Rabbit!
Well, next time you make a scarecrow, you should build it to look like me. How I work. Puss, hoping to secure a satisfying finale for his master, mentally jousts with the unnatural creature. A dangerous game if he weren't a vain dolt, and I've got underwear more hideous. Let's make it truly revolting. Make it foul. Do it now! Grim's smelly foul. Grim's stinky foul. Make it nasty. Grim's rotten. Now. But evolves and becomes a lion. If he'd eat this arrogant and reckless puss, we could close up shop and go home. That'd be too easy, wouldn't it?
Make it disgusting.
You incompetent! You incompetent! You suck! You suck! Ah! You blithering it! You bite! You bite! Now I have another secret. You blithering it! Stomp it! The ogre once again transforms, becoming an enormous evil. Here? Wow. Hey, stay the hell out of my stories, you oversized piece of produce! Make it repulsive. Ogre transforms again, this time becoming a mouse. Hey, Puss! Eat that, you might get dumber, as if such a thing was possible. Bollocks, what's the deal here? Was she just waiting on the other side of that door with a wedding party for the ogre to be murdered? Moral of the story? Cats are tiny monsters. Their lies, threats, and outright murder are acceptable, nay, desirable means to human happiness and wealth. What
wonder where I can get a nice cat. Meow. Meow.
There was nothing natural about the old man's death, and his son's response to it was self-serving and indecent. In the context of this drama, Puss can hardly be blamed for acting like a human. Turns out father's been brutally murdered, and his oldest son has blood on his hands.
The mill is mine. I'll use your ass to work it and give you a crust in return.
Sounds fair. What about him?
He can eat cow shit and die.
Father said I could eat the cat.
Father's dead, and good riddance to the ugly brute. Make sure you're gone today, or I'll put you in a pie. Take that mangy excuse for a throw rug with you.
Puss had no intention of becoming a meal or a muff.
You, being useless, will understand nearly nothing of what's to happen. Just stay out of the way. Can you manage that?
I'm sure. I did procure your boots, and previously I asked how high when you said jump.
Puss cleared the warren of a raft of rabbits. Then he took the whole mess to the king.
Deliciously macabre, Monsieur Puss. I'll have this stuffed with something post-haste. Will you stay for the dinner?
Delighted, Your Majesty. Is there a box where I might freshen up my toilette?
Puss perfectly understood the maniac royal's predilection for gore and guts. With the world gone mad and naked, and the bogus marquis coming apart, as it were, Puss had little need to further ingratiate himself into the king's good graces. But he had a story, and he was sticking to it.
You'll excuse me for saying so, Master, but I don't believe you resisted those bandits as vigorously as you might have done. Wow. Did I detect yelps of pleasure?
To the best of my recollection, I was assaulted.
Well, do a better job of being miserable. The king will expect it.
The king, in fact, was smitten with the cat. What he did for the hapless marquis was really for Puss's sake.
This land belongs to the Marquis of Carabas, unless you can answer the following question.
This is my land. This belongs. Lord Carabas is.
The rightful owner, correct. Now, the real question is, why do cows have 4 stomachs? Anyone? Well, Lord Carabas thanks you for your efforts. You may die now.
Whoever propagated this notion of good ogres never met one. Nasty bits of work ogres are.
Rumors are so unkind, your ogreness. You're purported to be ugly, ornery, vicious, cruel shapeshifters. Execrable table manners, too. No personal hygiene to speak of. Wow. That's your ogre, I was told.
Well, I won't deny it all. It's a cruel description, but fair.
And the shape-shifting?
Oh yeah, that's all good. Pretty impressive, really.
That's very nice, Your Magnificence. Outstanding! The elephant was brilliant, but what would really move me is if you could become a mouse. They are such frightening, resourceful creatures. But no, that would be too much to ask.
In my previous description of the ogre, I omitted dumb, egregious oversight. Include it now. It's a defining characteristic. Now, to celebrate multiple murders, massive deceptions, grievous bodily harm, gross assaults on bodies and minds, a wedding. Ah, these characters deserve one another. May all our stories end so well. Until next time. When a total stranger offers a poor miller vast wealth in return for something of obviously lesser value, should it not arouse suspicion? Of course it should, but today's dunderhead, a man with as much imagination as a lump of coal, isn't even a teeny bit skeptical. There's no way but poorly for things to go for such a dimwit. The miller gathers firewood to supplement his puny income.
Why waste time in the forest? I'll make you rich as Croesus if you give me what stands behind your mill.
A hard bargain, sir, for I dearly love that apple tree. But for the wealth you promise, I give my pledge.
I'll return one day to collect what's mine.
Old Scratch has returned to collect his due. Turns out the miller's daughter was standing behind the mill, beside the apple tree.
Her tears have made her sopping wet. I can't take her like that.
She weeps because she has no hands.
You cut off her hands rather than forfeit your own life. You could have taken her place.
You fiend! I did what I had to do. You've come 3 times, and because she's wet, you've rejected her. Now she's safe. I'll care for her. She will be grateful.
Grateful? I think not. What would you do in her place? Might murder be on her mind? It ought to be, having beat the devil, whose aversion to water is frankly not that well known. The girl is on her own. She has no use for her craven father. Starving, unable to work for food, she happens upon a royal orchard. What luck!
Though it is forbidden, I'll eat just 1 pear to slake my hunger.
You are beautiful, so I will not have you executed for molesting my royal pears. In fact, I love you, despite your handlessness. I'll have some forged of silver made for you. You shall be my wife and queen.
The king is off to war. That's mainly what kings do, and they often do it poorly.
Goodbye, queen. Make the baby a boy. Be nice to mother. See you soon.
Goodbye, king. Dispatch the enemy with ruthless cruelty and hurry home. We'll roast a goat on your return.
Alas, this was not to be, for the devil is first and foremost a mischief maker with no sense of humour. Often the devil altered letters between the king and queen with his own, dare I say, diabolical messages. The messenger is his unwitting dupe.
If this message from her loving husband doesn't result in her death or exile, I will consider changing my career.
The queen has abandoned the palace. Thanks to the devil's work, she thinks the king wants her dead. Once again, she is on her own, though the silver hands provide some assistance.
Nature is fine. Though a bath would be nice, and decent walking shoes, and some bread. I wonder what Father is doing.
Thinking of that old reprobate must have cost her.
Don't cry, Father. All is forgiven. You're not the first to sacrifice a child's body parts, and you won't be the last. Is there any bread available?
I'm sure there is. I believe I could get you some for a decent price. Those lovely silver hands will be worth something.
Indeed. Oh, look, there's my husband, the king. Your Majesty, do you still wish to cut out my tongue and eyes?
No, Queen, I want you as you are. Come, let us return to the palace and live happily ever after.
What an extremely large load of bovine excrement. Once again, an adult, a ridiculous excuse for a parent, barters a child's welfare to secure his personal gain, and is not held accountable for his atrocious actions. If you'd like to see Father pay a higher price for maiming his daughter, play on. A miller makes a deal with the devil. Wealth in exchange for what stands behind his mill. Make it rotten. Let's move! Now I'm smelly. Now who's stinky? Grim secret watering grave, the worst kind. Now I'm Groose. Now I'm foul. Don't. Rompin', stompin', but make it good. Stupid flippin' gate. Who's your papa? The miller chops off his daughter's hands. The cowardly wheat grinder has no idea that his brutal act will temporarily save her from Satan. He's just looking out for number one. Well, at least someone's suffering. But why should she be the only one? Make it nasty. Do it now! My, what have I detected now? Grim's smelly now. Now who's stinky? secret found. Now I'm Bruce. Grim's foul. Now. Now who's rotten? Now who's nasty? We're all blown in the wind. After abandoning her home, this abused and starving freak happens upon the royal garden and steals a pear. Maybe the guards will stab her. I can hope, can't I? Make it rotten. Do it now! Grim's smelling. Now. Now I'm stinky. Now who's gross? Oh, I'm on fire! Now who's foul? king invites the handless one into his castle. She steals his pears, but the king invites her in, and immediately decides he wants to marry her. A thief with no hands? Perhaps it's a good match, as he seems to have no brains. A fine royal couple. Make it disgusting. Now I'm nasty. Get me out of here. Not to make me puke. Some months after the wedding, the king goes off to war. What's the rush? Oh, that explains it. Babies are fun in the making, less fun in the rearing. Make it nasty. Do it now! Grim's stinky now. Secret found! Now! Gross! Foul. Grim's rotten. Now. am suddenly speechless. Even 1,000 words couldn't capture it. Lucifer has more in store for these creatures. He switches the king's love letter with instructions to execute the queen. Switches the letter? Oh, please. Heaven forfend. Gee, Satan, can't you get darker than that? Make it nasty. Now who's smelly? Not so secret now. Now who's stinky? Grim no more. Now. Now who's foul? Now who's rotten? See, Satan? That's how it's done, you milquetoast patty waste, you pathetic excuse for an evildoer, you slimy, stupid little... The queen catches wind of the execution plans and flees into the wilderness. Doesn't look very wild, does it? Let's acquaint her with real torment. Make it rotten. Now who's stinky? Grim's gross. Ow. now! Ignominious defeat! An angel rescues the hapless queen from the wilderness. Where was she when the queen's hands were getting lopped off? The logic stinks. Well, no matter. Let's make sure this isn't an easy way out. Make it nasty. Do I look like a goat? Yeah! You blithering idiot! Now I have another secret. The late save. I mean, you guys could have done something before she got the chop. Stupid angel. Well, the Queen and King are finally reunited. Everyone rejoices. But wait a second. The numbskull father shouldn't get away with his cruelty. Let's make this a reunion to remember. Make it rotten. Now I'm smelly. Gross.
That's disgusting. Oh, a gun dog.
Now who's foul? Let's give her a hand! She needs it for her profound contribution to righteous retribution! Dancing in the rain, despite my migraine, blood's oozing all over, I'm ecstatic again, oh yeah! La-di-da-da, la-di-da-di-da, da-di-da, da-di-da-da, woohoo! No doubt the girl without hands was Fortune's fool, sorely abused by her father and through no fault of her own, made to suffer long by so-called higher powers. But she understood the true meaning of revenge, and when she saw her opportunity, she grabbed it with both hands.
Give me your child as my handmaiden, and you may escape your poverty and live free from want.
It's a deal. She'll be ready to go when you return.
What a tool. No fight, no resistance, no balls. Well, she was just his daughter.
I've come to collect your handless, armless child, without arms. Make her stop crying. I'm allergic to salt water.
You've only yourself to blame. She has an endless supply of tears. Would that she could irrigate my wheat fields.
I've no use for a wet woman, but I will redeem your pledge someday.
The miller was such a senseless, selfish lout. He believed he'd outwitted the devil. The girl was driven from home. She sought out the royal garden, thinking the king at least would have some food.
Who interferes with the royal pair of doom? Guards, draw and quarter this wretched thief. Oh, never mind, she's armless. I mean, without arms. She's young, wouldn't have to touch me, and no one else would want her. You'll be my wife. Or would you prefer instant death?
The girl without hands became queen, and the brutal king's willing helpmate. Vicious is as vicious does, I say. Once she produced an heir, he left her in charge when he toddled off to quell a citizen rebellion, murder some peasants, or execute recalcitrant enemies. The devil, altering one of the king's letters home, ordered the queen's execution. Nice work. The queen, motivated by the dire, if faulty, intelligence that she was next on the to-be-dispatched list, hastily made it out of the palace.
Better I should walk this wilderness alone until I die than lose my head to a swordsman's blow. What is that? A spirit? An angel, perhaps? Why have you come? What do you want from me? Where?
Shut up and listen. I have plans for you, and I will keep you well and protect you until those plans are ripe.
What have I done to deserve your protection?
Nothing. It's what your father has done to deserve my punishment. I will reunite you with your husband and his army. You all will be my instruments of revenge. Finally, a parent will get what he so richly deserves. Thank you, spirit, or whatever you are. She knows that's got to hurt. I never heard the expression, an arm for an arm, but I'm certain it's been said. The world looks no better once justice has been served. Nor no worse either. Perhaps that's just as well. Cruelty, selfishness, and abuse are never excised nor redeemed in a single generation. May all our stories end so well. Until next time. When their 13th child plops out and the hapless parents don't even take a pledge of abstinence, they've apparently abandoned good judgment along with restraint. They hope a godfather may ameliorate their folly. Nonsense!
Back directly, Mother. I'll just step out and find a godparent to help raise our new boy.
Right. Any other man would be contemplating a permanent exit, and who could blame him, poor Randy Sod?
Hurry home, dear. The babies need burping.
Now here's undeserved luck. Looking for a godparent, this mope finds God.
No offence, God, but you can't be godfather to my son. You give to the rich while the poor starve.
Bloody hell, he thinks there's a better godfather than God? Wonder what God thinks about it. Well, he's on a roll. I believe the operative verse is, "Seek and ye shall find." But this is ridiculous.
Are you?
I am. Take me as your child's godfather. I will give him all the joys of the world.
No offence, Beelzebub, but you can't be my son's godfather. You deceive us and lead us astray.
Equal time and treatment to the champions of good and evil, I suppose. Neither has much reason to complain. But who's next? Why, it's Death. And the horse he rode up on.
Make me your child's godfather. To me, everyone is equal. I will care for him.
Done no, Death. You treat the rich and poor alike. You shall be my child's godfather.
Not the only criterion on which to base the decision, but probably not the worst. The boy grew up without incident or remarkable event, and when he had come of age, his macabre godparent charted his future and introduced him to a miraculous herb.
Godson, you will become a physician to the rich and famous.
But I have no training.
No matter. As I am visible only to you, I'll indicate which of your patients will live and which will die. If I stand at their heads, give this herb, they will recover. But if I stand at their feet, they're mine.
Death was as good as his word. His godson became rich and was later appointed the king's personal physician. But when the king's time had come, the godson was loath to let him die.
Don't ever dare to betray me again.
Yes, Godfather. King, as I have saved your life, I'd like to marry your daughter.
She's very ill. Heal her, and you shall have her and my crown.
Feeling better? Fine. I'm your doctor. We're getting married. Tomorrow good for you?
I have no dress.
Godson, you'll never disappoint me again. Come along now.
A more perspicacious being would have seen Death's declaration for the lethal guarantee it was.
I'll get back to you.
He lied, of course. But what did he know? He wouldn't be getting back to anyone above ground. Oh, this doesn't look good. Candles snuffed out, Death giving a guided tour of the underworld. Symbolism's a bit too clear. I might have cursed the darkness and let it go at that.
These candles are the lifelights of every living being. A long candle foretells a long life, and the opposite is true too. Here is yours.
Puss. This little stump is about to go out. Light a new one for me.
One must go out before a new one is lit. But because you are my godson, I'll try a trick. It's against the rules.
Thank you, Godfather Death. You saved me.
Almost anything for you.
Was the physician fated for an early death, or was his premature demise a punishment? The storyteller doesn't say, but without an answer, the tale is a muddle of unhappy accidents. Death was chosen as Godfather, and God's not offended at being passed over? The devil takes no for an answer. That would be a first. And then all-powerful Death, the great leveler, pretends he's going to spare his witless godson. I don't think so. If you agree, play on. Not so very long ago, when ignorance was more common, if less forgiving than now, an abjectly poor woman presented her willfully stupid husband with their 13th and least wanted child. Make it rotten. Let's move. Don't delay.
Get him!
Romp and stop.
Get him!
He nearly ran out of his clothes. Pity he couldn't keep his pants on at home.
Get Daddy! Get him! Get Daddy! Don't run, Daddy! We're going to get you.
The indiscriminate breeder seeks a godfather to support his latest spawn. He decides that God isn't up to the job. And, according to me, God doesn't take rejection well. Make it nasty. Let's move. Don't be not so secret now, are ya? But stomp it! Romp and stomp! Stomp it good! The rampant spawner mulls over old Scratch the Godfather, but declares him lacking. What's with the nuns? Make it repulsive. Let's move! Grim's disgusting. Now. Make it rampant. Don't delay, but stomp away. Stomp it. Ooh, I love it when they do my bidding. Nonetheless, we shouldn't dawdle. My favorite part is next. Oh boy, this moron has found one he can't refuse. Death. Who better for a godfather? I should have asked God why he thought this dolt should go forth and multiply. This environment doesn't suit our bony friend. Let's cool it down. Make it vile. Disgusting. yourself. Stomping, busting it good. Whoa, Death, yeah, you the man, El Jefe, the Grim Reaper, if I do say so.
Chill, Grim.
I slept like a statue. Is that bird do? No? What's happening? Oh, so, Death instructed his godson in the herb's magical properties and followed up with a stern admonition concerning its misuse. Considering this dolt's lineage, what were the chances he'd heed the warning? I prefer my herbs carnivorous. Make it smelly!
Stomp it! Stop it! Make it gross. Romp it, stomp it, butt kicking good. Chomp it, chomp and stomp. Romp and stomp, make it rotten. Now who's foul? Our secret no more. Romp it, stomp it, make it good. Stomp it good. Stomp it. Stomp it good. Don't delay, but delay. Delay! Stop away! Make it disgusting.
Filthy man.
Now I have a secret. Now who's nasty?
Away from me. Leave us
Rompin'. Rompin', stompin', busting it good. Eat your veggies before they eat you. Plague, my pretties. Plague! Let's move! Plague befalls the king, and the godson, now doctor to the royal family, saves him with an unauthorized application of the magic herb. Death is pissed. It's a pity to anger him when the royal person looks merely feverish. Let's make this treachery worth the wrath. Get sicker, king! Make it foul! Chomp and stomp! Make it repulsive.
Grim's rotten. Now. Grim's last. Now. Now. Disgusting. Looking for something? No, found it. Ha ha! Stomp it! But stomp it! When the comely princess got the plague, probably got it from Dad, the godson predictably used the herb to save her, contrary to Death's command. The princess lived, but the godson's history. Can't wait for this dunce to be dead. Make it putrid. Don't delay. Stomp it. Next time you get sick, my dear, take 2 aspirin and die! He's too stupid to realize that begging is useless. He's going to the underworld and not just for a visit. This makes sure he takes a few innocents along for the ride. Make it vile! Rancid. Don't it romp and stop. Woohoo! Nothing like a day trip to the underworld. Death's sweet embrace. Death often tours his domain, but never for fun. Still, it seems too benign. Let's make it morbid. Make it foul. After he disobeys and insults Death, the dope pleads with him to relight his candle and spare his life. Please, Death, end it now and let's make it messy. Make it disgusting. Grim's rotten. Now.
eat as a cockroach on toast. Don't be good! Death, you're too kind. Take this fool to Hades. He's kicked the bucket, given up the ghost. In short, he snuffed him, met his maker, passed away, passed over, passed out, passed gas, gone.
Enough!
Well, now it's clear. Better the silly sod had exposed the child or thrown himself under the nearest ox cart to celebrate the birth. Who but a cowardly idiot wouldn't prefer extinction to utter hopelessness? Cheat death? I don't think so. A painful stint of suffering, misery, and death all round. Serve them right.
Forgive me, Lord. I haven't been a bad man, just imprudent.
Presumably another word for obtuse or oversexed, or both.
Stop whining and mind the brats, you licentious old goat. Their nappies are filthy.
I'll take poison before asking for a favour, God. Each time before I've begged for your help, I might as well have asked a cat.
For some small consideration, I could persuade one of those nuns to break her vows.
You miserable tempter. Times I've offered you up my soul and services for a little money. What did I get? Nothing. A sneer and a puff of smelly smoke. You won't be my son's godfather. I've already rejected God for the job.
You randy wretch. I'll take the boy as my apprentice, and I'll mark you for death. It's a good day to die, and the world will not miss you.
Oh no, Death! Take the boy, but put me down for another day.
Cowards and fools die often, but your time is near enough.
So Death introduced his new assistant to the finer points of his craft.
I'm about to get busy. Plague is coming. Millions will perish. You will help me. Never question me. Never contradict me. If you disobey, you will suffer. Swear to it.
I do, Godfather. This isn't as much fun as it looks. There's the drudgery, the smell, and a lot of moaning.
They're all marked for immediate demise. They've already begun to stink. Get to work.
All right, except for this one. I want to save her, Godfather.
It cannot be. Her story has been written. It is finished. All creatures have a time. Hers has come. Do not resist it.
I must. She's a princess. She can make me some money if I clean her up a bit. Heal the oozing sores, make her some teeth, find a wig, you know.
It almost saddens me that you don't have the brains of an ant. You're done here.
What are we doing here, Godfather?
Are you really that dim? You've come to die, and I'm here to bear witness and settle a score. You swore a vow and broke it.
But I'm your godson.
As if that could make a difference. All beings owe a debt to me. Your payment is suddenly due.
Who doesn't know that it's dangerous to break faith with the Godfather? The doctor's overweening ambition and lack of judgment showed his true parentage. Death may be heartless, but he's fair, and he does know how to keep a promise. May all our stories end so well. Until next time.